up, world? It's Cameron coming at you here with Shepherds of Men with my boys JP
hey guys.
and Wilson.
What's going on?
And the one and only producer extraordinaire. Oh,
what's up, guys?
he said that was as long as he was keeping his mic on. He literally just reached over and turned it off. Oh man, we are privileged to have that gentleman there as a producer for sure.
Absolutely.
Makes us all sound sexy. I was actually telling somebody, one of our new listeners, they were like kind of asking about the process of all this and everything, and I'm like, well, you know, there's. He's like, is it just you and one other person? I was like, no, there's actually 4 of us. I was like, well, it's kind of 3 of us you hear now, but then there's O, and he's the one that makes us all sound better. So we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Now the look better part we have to do on our own. If you're on YouTube with us. And right now we actually have kind of some mood lighting going on. I'm not really sure what's happening in here. We've got a candle lit.
Hey, I like it a little bit darker like this.
I'm trying to get better with the lighting, so you guys will see some progress there going forward.
Okay.
But
progress will be good.
I appreciate that you appreciate me.
Thankful for your thankfulness. So this week is the week of Thanksgiving that we celebrate here in America, and if you're somewhere else in the world, then you should just celebrate and be thankful for things too, I'm sure. But we want to our topic we'll get into here in a minute, but I want to just talk about some quick things that are happening just to bring everybody up to speed. We are working on some new vendors and some new cool stuff coming down the pipe with swag. So just stay tuned on that. I know we've been mentioning it a lot, and people are eager to see what's happening. Just stay tuned. It's coming soon. And we're pumped about it. And also just some new things as far as some potential guests coming on the show. And it's some exciting times. Like 2021 is going to be even more amazing than 2020. And I know some people think that's like, well, that's not that hard. Honestly, this has been one of the best years of my life. So I just have to disagree with you. And 2021 is going to be one of the best years of my life, just like we said recently, So, but stay tuned, check things out. You can always stay up to date with our site, shepherdsof.men, and you can find us on social media at Shepherds of Men and just about anywhere. And one thing I would love to ask of everyone is go onto our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or whatever else, go to YouTube right now.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Subscribe. Click the little button that gives you an alarm when a new episode comes out, and then follow or whatever it is. There's like 3 things to do on there. It takes you 3 seconds.
Do all 3.
Do all three of them. You'll be a better person for it. You'll feel good about yourself for supporting something that's so powerful. So take care of that right now. We'll pause for 3 seconds to let you do it. Thank you for subscribing. All right. So let's get into it.
Beautiful.
So we're going to talk a little bit about obviously Thanksgiving this week, and I'm pumped about it for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is the amount of food and the types of food. We have already done one Friendsgiving at our house. We're about to rock another Friendsgiving here with all the shepherds and the shepherds' families. Pumped about that. Like literally when we get done recording, we're about to just bust into some whatever is
fried turkey.
Bust out of something.
We're about to bust out of something. Yeah.
We got to go make the fried turkey.
Oh yeah, we still got to fry the turkey. So
yeah.
I'm not going to talk very long. But it's a great time of year. It really is. I mean, I know this year it seems like everybody's kind of really getting to Christmas quickly, even in our house, more so than sooner than normal. I don't know if that's just because people need some holiday spirit.
You got your tree up and everything?
Yeah.
We
it's
do too.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like we normally have I know, don't judge me.
Yeah, we already have our tree up. But the issue is we are.
You voted for Biden. You voted for
Biden. I needed some Christmas spirit, No, we put our tree up and found out that we have 4 strands of lights on the tree that's pre-lit or whatever.
Yep.
That's all out. So we just got some more coming.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see an actual tree put together, which is good.
We normally go live. We usually have live trees every year, but my wife was like, I want a tree up now. She needs some Christmas spirit, I guess. And so she got a artificial or fake tree or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And
that's what we got.
And it's got the lights on it already, though.
Just missed it with some like evergreen scent or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
That.
Exactly.
Just missed it.
Some like car scent and hang on it. Yeah.
Just
like put the little trees on the tree.
That's a bachelor tree.
It smells just like a tree.
Just hang the trees from the tree.
You gotta scratch it.
Yeah.
Less messy.
Yeah, well, it is less messy, but I don't know. There's something about it. But what I do like is that there's no lights. Like, I mean, the lights are already in the tree. That's a game changer for me because that's always the most annoying part is wrapping them and unwrapping.
Apparently this year, so Dina's obviously in nesting mode now. You know, we got another one on the way. If you're listening and wonder what nesting mode is, generally towards the end of the pregnancy, everything has to be repainted and new.
Yeah.
So apparently there's a flog tree.
Flogged.
flog tree.
Okay.
So I thought she was joking because flogging to me means something different.
Yeah, right. Doesn't sound positive.
Yeah. So she showed me a picture, and apparently it's like this snow covered tree. It's got lights on it, and the whole works and stuff. And she's like, "We need one of these." I was like, "We have a tree.
Yeah.
It's a nice tree."
It's interesting the definition of need between you and your spouse.
That's
like,
exactly right.
We had the conversation earlier, like need or want. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know if we need a flogging. You know, I don't know if anybody's ever been like, I can go for a flogging right now.
Right. Well, my wife, she was like, "Yeah, we need a new tree, but I'm too cheap to buy one." We got like, not me, but like she was like, "I don't want to buy one at full price because our tree has lasted us our whole entire marriage."
Wow.
Almost, with no issues until just last year.
You've been married longer than anybody in here.
I know, 10 years at least. I don't
At
know.
least.
Well,
I'm not sure, but at least 10 years.
I know it's over 10 years. I just can't rember if we bought
Plus or minus. Is there a tolerance in there?
I think it was like 2
Statute
years
limitations?
in. Yeah, no. I mean, I think it was 2 years in. Well, I meant like 2 years in of our marriage. I think we bought the tree for our first time.
Okay.
Like, it was we had a hand-me-down tree.
So how long ago was that?
12 years ago. Yeah, so I think we're working on 12. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
We'll
Ashley.
edit this out for your. For
no,
your
I don't care. She
benefit.
knows. I mean,
Never
you put
bring
me on the
that up.
spot. Normally, I'm pretty good at it, but yeah.
So Ashley didn't want to spend money on a tree.
So we're gonna wait till after the Christmas is over and then buy a tree because the
For
tree
next
that we
year.
bought was like $50,
Oh, yeah.
pre-lit, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And that same tree was like $200 prior. So
Oh,
I'm
dude,
like,
they're
yeah,
stupid now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I'm gonna do that.
It is what it is, right? I swear we just put up like what I thought was, the thankful season. Like it starts kind of Halloween, but it's like all the fall y'all stuff and everything. I was like, I swear we just put all that, and that's supposed to take you through Thanksgiving, right? Like that makes sense to me. It's all down. Like there's 2 more Hobby Lobby trips later. Now it's all Christmas stuff.
Yep.
So, anyways, it's great. Hey, happy wife, happy life. Mama she's loving it, and it's great. I don't really care. It's we buy the house, they decorate the house, everybody's happy.
I heard a saying. It's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy life. It is a two-way street, right? You both have to be happy.
Okay, I thought you were about to pull some left-wing stuff there.
Where are you going here, Wilson?
Nope, only wife in my house.
Come back to us, Wilson.
No,
You're starting to sound like Fox News over there. Kind of bad.
Really not sure who we need to be loyal to now.
Wow.
Come on now. It ain't that way. Especially in the Wilson house. But, I mean, it's the both of you have to be happy.
No, you're right.
Yeah, like
But
a happy spouse, happy house.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
there
thinking.
we
I think
go.
that's the
Happy spouse, happy
actual-
house.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to go with it. So, anyways, in the along that same vein, I guess is a way to say, as the holiday season is coming up, and as Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that kind of stuff, typically, and everybody's different right now. I know, like depending on what news outlet you listen to or what you choose to take in, the coronavirus is maybe has some influence on what you're doing for the holidays. I'm not even going to get into that right now. I don't want to have that conversation, but let's just.
Josh.
Here's the deal. It is a new thing. So here's what this episode is about: how to navigate this season of life, how to navigate the holidays as somebody that is what our expectation is, or what our belief is. If you're listening to this right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're not, you can go to YouTube right now and you can subscribe and click the little
Hit the little alarm button.
alarm button.
We'll
and
give you 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3. All right, thanks for doing that. So once you've done that, if you're watching us or listening to us, we assume that you're wanting to grow. We assume you're wanting to get better as a man, and maybe as a woman if that's you. If as a person you're intentionally pursuing growth. All right. There is there can be distractions. There's this time of year it's easy to just get lazy, quite frankly, because sometimes depending on what you do for work, maybe you don't work as much. I mean, I can say that for me. Like there's more time off. I think that's kind of for everybody. You get more time off for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, whatever. To a degree, whatever. Maybe Josh is shaking his head. No, I don't.
Nope, not me.
Get more
either.
emails.
Especially during COVID.
Oh,
now
right.
nobody's going out to shop.
Right. So that's a blessing. So go
That's
to
a
your
good
malls.
thing for you.
Right. I think our mall in Chattanooga is shutting down or something like that. Is what I heard.
Wow.
For real.
But it just the daily routine that you have can be interrupted because you're traveling or you're staying at your parents' house, your whatever family member's house, and it's just like your routine's different. For us, we even change time zones when we go to visit family, and so it just like there's all these little things that can take you away from what you're doing to be better, to grow. And our, this is an effort today, right now, with this podcast to talk about how to avoid that. Like, how do you stay on track? Plus, you're going to have influences from some potentially toxic family members or friends.
I don't understand.
I don't know.
You guys have toxic?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure.
That's unfortunate.
Or
all
even,
mine are pretty straightforward.
Even if they're not toxic, it may just be somebody that just, believes totally different. Obviously, this is 2020, and we had a election that's still in process that has not been certified yet on who the actual winner is, other than according to the media. So there may be conversations that come up about that, right? And I'm not telling you to avoid those conversations. I don't believe in backing down from those. I am going to say that I think you can have those in a civil way. This is something that hits home for me really, really closely. I have some very close loved ones.
So don't argue with ignorance. That's one thing I'll give you advice.
Sure.
Do not argue with ignorance, because that individual will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Yep.
So don't do not argue with ignorant people. Please don't.
It's true. I mean, you're not going to accomplish anything.
But I do agree with having the good dialect and having a conversation with an individual that's smart enough to have a.
And I'm not even necessarily, depending on, just if you're bored, maybe go this route. But I'm not even necessarily saying bring up these topics. I heard somebody say one time, it was like, I don't start a fight, but if one comes to my door, I'll finish it. Right. And that's kind of the way I approach things too. Like, I'm not necessarily looking to pick a fight, but I'm not going to back down from something I believe in. Right. So
I'm not afraid to hurt somebody's feelings.
I'm not afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. I mean, you're an adult. I'm not afraid to offend somebody. Now, I'm not going to intentionally try to offend them, but I'm not going to back down from what I believe is truth. And you can do that properly. You can do that properly. And I would encourage you to, because, and the other side of that is, if you don't, and you let somebody step all over you, then you're allowing your self-image to be damaged. Because you're going to go to bed that night and be like, freak, I was a pussy today. I let Uncle so-and-so talk to me like a child, and I didn't say anything.
More than likely your kids are watching too.
100%.
So that's a big thing.
And you can shut down most of these, if there is a negative or a political conversation that doesn't go the route that you believe in or whatever, you can shut most of it down in a proper way. And I think more than anything, and y'all can chime in on this however y'all think, but for me personally, the way I intend to approach some of that stuff is, if it comes up, number one, they already know what your side of it is before the conversation ever starts, so you don't have to prove what you believe, as far as just who you're for or whatever. But you can be the bigger person. And I got to give a shout out to my wife. This week, she encountered some things that really kind of stem from the division we have in our culture right now, in our society, left versus right or whatever you want to call it. And y'all know my wife, she's fiery. I mean, she'll bust your ass in a heartbeat and then laugh at you. She really will. And I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's her nature, is to just get up in your grill. And she has just been incredibly patient and has been the bigger person, and has even gone out of her way to intentionally do some nice things for the people that are being asses. And that's, I'm really proud of her for that, because that's not easy to do. But at the end of the day, that's when it comes down to it. If you look back and you go, okay, well, so and so reacted this way and so reacted that way, can you be proud of the way you handled yourself? Right. And if you can, that's all that really matters. And in my personal belief, all that really matters is God's watching. Did I handle myself where my Heavenly Father's looking down going, well done. You're not being a jerk. Now again, if you got to go down that road, you got to go down that road, and you might have to, regulate on somebody. But ultimately, I think you can do it in love. And I have some people that are really close to me that I love dearly, and I really, if that conversation comes up, we're going to handle it. But we're also just going to be like, you know what? I just love you. Why don't we just have some turkey and open some presents, and you believe how you want to believe, I'll believe how I want to believe, and that'll all work itself out. But right now, we're just going to enjoy family.
Was it a man convinced against his will is of the same mindset still?
Exactly.
That's how
you're never going to accomplish anything.
Yeah. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is an outstanding book.
For sure.
Just a shameless plug there for everything that you just said. There's a ton of references in that book about how to approach people that you don't agree with, that you don't like. Part of it is, spitting poison on somebody that you don't like is not going to benefit you. If anything, you want to change somebody's, mind, you got to change their heart first.
100%.
And once they know that you care about them, which what Tanya did sounds like, she did some acts of service and things of that nature to help somebody out. That changes their mindset on, well, maybe this person is a solid person. Maybe they care about me. Maybe what they're saying has some validity because they're not just lashing out. They actually care about me. Mm-hmm. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a good book to
attracting flies with honey and not whatever. Like, let's be honest. If somebody's bashing windows and burning buildings down, I'm not going, okay, I'm willing to listen to what you have to say. No, I'm like, no, you're an ass. Like, you're a child, right? But if somebody's like, I don't mind sitting down and talking to you,
right?
It's a lack of intelligence.
And
is
maturity.
what that is.
Immaturity.
It's I mean, you generally resort to violence and things of that nature. It's just like we talked about, when the debate is lost, slander is all that's left. So when you can no longer and you should be able to identify that. To your point, when you're having a conversation, especially at around family and stuff like that, and it starts to become a heated conversation, you see that it's not going anywhere. You're not going to convince them against their will, and then it's one of those things that it's probably time to shut it down, because it's not going to get any better than what it needs to be. But they, like you said, they know where you stand.
Yeah,
they know you're not going to back away.
And you should still stand there.
That. Yeah, you're not going to waver from that.
You can stand the way, Wilson, I know you got something. You can stand the way you want to stand, though, and still be kosher to everybody else. Like the whole praying over a meal thing we were just talking about a little while ago. Like, I have no intentions of not praying over my food just because I might have a family member that doesn't agree with that. That's great. Yeah. Disagree with it over there. Yeah. And I disagree with things you do too, but I don't care. You do it.
Right.
As we say a lot, like, you do you, boo.
Yeah. That's how it should be.
That's
right?
exactly how it should be.
Well, I mean, going into the situation, we're talking about being at Thanksgiving dinner and eating and being cordial. They know your stance, and you should know theirs. So, and if you don't, or they don't, then
nobody's coming in wondering what team you're rooting for.
Right. Or they shouldn't, and then I'd question, like, are they really family? I mean, how well do you know each other?
Or how solid are you in what you believe?
Yeah, exactly. So if that's the case, then but don't be coming in there just bringing up that type of stuff. That's one thing you don't want to talk about.
Walk in the door. Trump 2020.
Yeah. 2024 if we don't get 2020.
Exactly.
I mean, and if you do that, you're intentionally picking a battle, and you need to, not. But if you want to do that, then that's fine. Then you bring strife to the family situation, and now you've ruined it, not just for you, but everybody else in the room. And that's what you should do, is to start thinking about other people other than just yourself.
Right.
So and
you should have fun with it too, though. I think there's a good opportunity to be lighthearted about stuff like that and have a good time, and that goes back to being the thermostat, not the thermometer. Yeah. You can come in there and you can have one of those kind of conversations, and if you're good, then you can walk away from the conversation. That person go, shit, he just schooled me. Right. Like, oh man, and that's where the skill comes in. But that's a whole nother lesson.
But if you don't have that, then just
leave it alone.
Maybe just shut your mouth.
Maybe me and my brother-in-law will have some very pointed, witty banter over the holiday, no doubt about it. And I even had to chill some people out on social media this week, because he made some comment, I commented back, and it was pretty strong and pretty pointed. And then I just, right after that, I said, everybody else chill out, y'all breathe. This is how John and I communicate. Like,
right.
We know we disagree on things, and we're okay with it.
And y'all have fun with it.
And we have fun with it, because we're also intelligent guys that enjoy the challenge of, like, whatever, just being asses to each other,
either proving each other wrong or right, or whoever,
right. Or just knowing that no matter what I say, you're not going to change. No matter what you say, I'm not going to change. So let's just have fun. So whatever, just keep that in mind. Ultimately, you're not going to change the world over the turkey this Thursday. You're not. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think you can be an example of someone that maybe that adult or the teenager that lives in their household that maybe, and I've heard a number of these conversations recently and I'll just say it, I know some people are going to whatever, but we were talking about California before we started recording, officially recording. And let's just call it what it is. California is a freaking dumpster fire. All right? It really is. Like, it's a shame. It's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful, and they have they have absolutely ruined it in so many ways.
And by they, we're talking about politicians.
Yeah. And it's a shame. It could be a gem for our country, and it's just not. But I'm having some conversations with people that are moving to Tennessee from there, because and I have them almost weekly at this basis, from either there, Michigan, New York, a number of different places where they're like, I'm done, I'm out. And they talk about some of these are people that are like 40s, 50s, whatever, and they're talking about some of their acquaintances or friends growing up and that have teenage kids. This particular conversation I had, this lady was like, her friend's son, her friend who happens to view things differently than her, is just turned 18 this year. It's his first time having a chance to vote, and his family is incredibly focused on one side, and he voted the other way. And she asked him why. He's like, well, because I researched them. I researched the candidates, and I looked at what they believe and what they were doing and why they were doing it. And he's like, honestly, as a matter of fact, this is the other thing. This kid's gay.
Yeah.
And he voted against what most people would think because he was like, honestly, this is just a better option, you know? So when I say all that is you can be the bigger person and you can let that 16, 17, 18-year-old kid that's sitting there that's going to be the next leaders of our country see somebody that's like, okay, Uncle so-and-so just cussed a lot and got angry, but Uncle this guy seemed like he had his shit together and nothing bothered him and he was unwavering in his beliefs, and I kind of liked some of the stuff he had to say.
It's definitely more attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so you can be that, like, and keep that in mind, like Josh was talking about, like,
be the light.
Be the light for the room, for sure. The other side of it is on the, and y'all can hit on this, like the personal development stuff. I know we talked a lot here on habits and what that looks like, your morning routine. Whether you're somebody that gets up and gets some exercise in early and then prays or meditates or reads. There's gonna be challenges with how you do that over the holidays, but it's so important to not get off track. Now, I'm not saying don't chill out some, because I think you should take some days to just chill out and enjoy the family and eat a bunch of food, have some whiskey, whatever you want to do. But you still should be like, all right, I'm not trying to fall off the wagon here, right? So what are some things you guys do throughout the busyness of November, December, where you're still like, I still want to make sure I'm reading, I still want to make sure I'm putting positive audios in my brain, I still want to make sure I'm hitting the gym or whatever, I'm staying physically fit. Like, what are some, I don't know whether they might just be like, not reminders, what's the word, like triggers to go, I don't need to get too far off track.
Right.
Anything specific?
Well, I mean, you got to stay true to what you said you're going to do or what you put out to. But I'll be honestly transparent with me. You hit on a few things that I haven't been doing here lately. Not because I'm, I guess, less busy or whatnot, how you were putting it, like it's kind of like a coasting time.
Yeah.
We've ramped up like crazy. So there's sometimes that we're, in that sense, it may not be a daily thing that I can get to due to the fact that then I wouldn't have any family time or whatever. I want to kind of try to stay as balanced as possible. But when I do find the time or make the time, it's dedicated to get as much out of that time as I can. So that's for me. Now, prayer, it's most important. So there's some times that, my phone's ringing right in the middle of a prayer, and I have to answer it, go back, and then continue. I don't want to do that. I want to be completely cut off from the world and be dedicated, but sometimes that just doesn't happen. So you gotta roll with the punches and roll with and fit it in as best as you can. Read something, listen to something. I like to put something in my brain every single day, whether it be a podcast or a quick video or some kind of positive. And then stay in tune with what's going on in the world around me too, because I don't want to be completely ignorant to the fact of what's happening. But that's for me in the Wilson household currently. But I would love to say and have a better report to say, yes, I read every single day. I read my 10 pages a day and I listen to an audio a day, and I'm very disciplined in that sense. But just to be honest with you right now, I haven't. And this episode's going to be good because I'd like to hear what you guys have done to create those habits or create figuring it out on, okay, this is the time that we're going to do this. So.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot changes for me, to be honest. I mean, this time of year, I guess I would say is probably more hectic from a career standpoint, just because of the nature of what I do. But as far as my time that I spend doing, my personal growth aspects of things, whether it's, physically or mentally, those are kind of blocked out for me personally. I want to be the best that I can possibly be, and that goal doesn't change no matter what portion of the year it is. Now, to say that I've never missed days, I can't. I'm not going to say that. I mean, there's obviously days where, I haven't read, I haven't, executed the game plan the intended way. But to say that it changes a whole lot for me would probably not be accurate. My day-to-day is still, my priorities. And then, if I need to slack off at work to do what I need to do as far as my priorities, I'll do it, because work is not my number one priority. It's just not. Now, don't get me wrong. I will do my job better than anybody else does their job, within my realm. But it's not. That just to tell you, everything else is a heightened sense of execution. Now, where I probably struggle more than anything is making my wife happy during this time of year. So for me personally, it's a matter of my wife's love language is acts of service. There's no doubt about that. So where I end up running into issues is time for honey-do list stuff. So now my job is 100% full bore. There's no room for error there. Still trying to work out, do the personal growth stuff, and then we have projects on top of it. And now I have a small litter, of children.
More on the way.
Which thanks for reminding me about it. So, which adds to it. But I think it's just one of those things, man. You can't procrastinate. I think it's one of that's what's going to get you in trouble more than anything in a busy time and season like this. Is procrastination, and everybody does it. I mean, if you ask anybody, how much of your Christmas shopping would you guys say you have done right now? Percentage.
Percentage. Zero.
Yeah.
But I mean,
regardless of the terminology you want to use, the answer is zero.
But
we
that's
got
two items bought for my mom and my dad, and that's about it.
Right. We
probably have some other things that are going to be bought for them, but that's it.
We got a couple nieces and nephews taken care of. But we don't have. I mean, we're not where we need to be at. But and it's I'm really starting to get a little bit disgusted in this consumer kind of aspect of the holidays and stuff, where it's like, you just got to buy, run, do this and that and everything, because every single year we give our kids more stuff, is what it seems like. And then, we find stuff that's still in the packages and stuff. So we're starting, and I'll just tell you, this year is going to be different for us. What we're starting to do is go back to that old school kind of, like, Christmas is about sitting there making cookies at night, spending time together as a family, doing things you need to do. And I want, my kids are going to have an opportunity to tell me what kind of experience they want for Christmas, not what they want from a tangible. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to have stuff to open. I want them to have stuff to open, but they don't need a ton of stuff. I want it to be, what do you want to do? Yeah. This is what I want to do. Okay. All right. What else? What are the top 5 things? If you could choose anything in 2021 that you could do, what would it be? I want to go climb Pikes Peak. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. All right.
Wow, you're 2. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Good for you.
It's the back muscles. So something we do is something you want, something you need, something you wear, something you read. So we don't ever really gift anything more than 4 things max. And then, of course, as a group, we usually do like a family gift where we go and do something.
Yep.
So that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. I hope people are listening to that, because that's really good. And JP, I agree with you. Like, every year, and I love my wife, but she's her heart about giving gifts is probably different than what my perspective of it is, because she didn't have some of that stuff. She didn't have the opportunity, and when she did as a kid, it was from somebody else, not necessarily her parents or whatever. But like, sometimes to me, I can feel like we're just buying a bunch of stuff. Like, we're just buying stuff, and every year it seems like it's just more stuff. And it's not even the dollar amount. I don't even care so much about the actual dollar amount. It's just the principle of it. Mm-hmm. Is like, I feel like we're cheapening something, and we're missing something, and so I love what both you and O talked about as far as having experiences and memories and those kinds of things. It's so much more important, and I can, kudos to my mom, and grandparents on that side. It was always about what we were doing together as a family.
But think about it.
So much stuff.
Like, what do you remember? I can tell you maybe 1 or 2 gifts that I remember getting that I was like, and most of the time, like, now that I think about it, those were my birthday gifts. Like, I got a bike for my birthday or something like that. But for Christmas, What I always remembered was like watching Home Alone.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You know, stuff like that. Like those kind of things is what I remember. Not all the presents that I ripped
like
open.
it's a cheap high for a second, and then it's
it's another form of manipulation, in my opinion, from a consumer nation,
sure.
which is fine. You gotta be big enough to understand that kind of stuff.
And there's certainly some things like depending on like we're looking at a couple like in the bonus room like gymnasiums type stuff, and like certainly that could lead to creating some memories. Like we can do that stuff together, So like I'm not discouraging, but things you can do like a trampoline or something like that, dude. We've had so many great memories on a trampoline,
right?
Like as a family playing together. So like I get that, but when you're talking about let's buy another box full of plastic crap, and put it in that bucket over there of more plastic crap, like it's just like Lord, I swear we buy more boxes to put crap in. I'm like, why don't we just get rid of some of the crap?
Yes,
So, anyways, that's kind of off topic a little bit, but I want to go back to something
that's true.
But
your family time is important. And
it's so important.
That's where you need to slow down. I mean, you work so hard for what? You get to this season of life, and you go, are you going to work through the season? Are you just going to and bypass the memories that you could make? That's I guess where most people like to slow down in this time. Is to take the time with the family, but it shouldn't be just this time of season. You should be doing some memories and some things throughout the year, and it doesn't have to go crazy.
And I will say this too: if you're stressing about presents, you are off track.
Yep.
Like if you're stressed because I don't have this particular thing for this person, or I didn't buy so and so something or whatever, like you're not giving for the right reason. I don't believe. Like it shouldn't be stressful. It should be joyful.
Yes.
It should be fun to get stuff for people if you want to. If you have the means to get presents for other people outside your immediate family, I think that's amazing. That's one of the things we want to do more of this year is buy presents for more people, not buy more presents for the same people. Buy presents for more people to show love and to show that we care and meaningful things. Even little stuff. But again, kind of off topic, but not really. I mean, I think there's important things to focus on. I want to go back to something JP said though about making up days is the way it registered in my head. I was thinking about John Wooden's quote about like if you can't make up days. Like if you don't give 100% today, like say I think his thing was like if you give 80% today, you can't give 120 tomorrow. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
It's like you just lost that 20%.
Yep.
So same kind of thing happens with your personal growth or whatever. Now, again, goes back doesn't mean like you don't take some time off and chill or whatever, but like you're not gonna be able to stack procrastination. That's what you were talking about, procrastinating, and that's what kills you, and it really does, because I think in a normal season of life, not around the holidays, you can procrastinate and still get away with it. Like if your tendency is to procrastinate and then you can make it up later, what happens Thanksgiving, Christmas is you procrastinate and then you can't make it up later. Now it's just gone.
Yeah.
Right. So you've lost your leg up, so to speak. That's the way it was hitting me. John Wooden talks about that mentality, and John Maxwell, who he mentored, talks about that quite a bit.
Yeah, there's certain daily things that you can't get back,
right?
And that's important. Like it's one of those things where it's in my mind that's why daily tasks are so important to me from a game plan standpoint, because like we talked about in a previous episode, it doesn't matter who's president, it doesn't matter who's in the Senate, it doesn't matter what's going on, the goal doesn't change. I mean it is what it is. The intention of where I want to be at, the way I want to die is still the same. I want to die at this level in my life and stuff, and in order to do that, I know there's things that I have to do every single day. Now, do I execute 100%? Absolutely not. I am
a human.
I happen to be human, but it doesn't change my drive and desire to be there.
Right.
So from a daily perspective, like you said, and that's one of the things that was very impactful on me was I was listening. I can't even remember who the speech was from, but he was talking about dying. He said, "It's real. You're gonna die. You have a finite amount of days that you can utilize. And
if you think you know when that is, you're crazy."
Yeah.
As the Hodgkins would say, you crazy as hell, man.
They're great. But it's one of those things where you have to take advantage of every single day. And it's one of those things like if yesterday was a bad day, then count your lucky stars because you get another one tomorrow. And make it the best one that you can have. Stop thinking about the one before. Make it the one that you can have. But like for me, I think one of the big things is when we talk about slowing down and family time and stuff like that, it's actually spending the time having those conversations. But where I slack is work. Mm-hmm. It's not personal growth. It's not family time. It's not, things like that.
Because you're prioritizing properly, in my opinion.
Well, and that's why whenever I look at it, like my time that I gain is where I'm not working. Like I either take some of my vacation time that I have left over at the end of the year, or whatever it may be, around the holidays, I have the time off, and then I spend the time sitting on the floor in the living room, with the little guy, like not doing a bunch of other stuff, because now I have more time to spend with them that I allocate to personal time with my family,
And I want to piggyback on that, because there's something Wilson said, and I'm not busting your balls on this, but it was something I want to kind of disagree with, but I was guilty of. And what JP was talking about, and I think is important for men to hear this. We have a tendency to be like, I have to produce, I have to provide, I have to take advantage of every opportunity, and I agree with that to an extent. And I used to be the king of taking advantage of every opportunity to do what I had to do for my job or my business. But taking advantage of every opportunity applies to your family too.
Yep.
Like it really does, more so. And I used to be the guy that would answer a phone call during a prayer. I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I get home from work and my phone goes on vibrate. And even if it doesn't, my wife knows, like if I forget to turn on vibrate or whatever, we're cooking dinner, we're doing whatever. There's at least 2-3 hours where if the phone rings, it's ringing. Yep. And my kids will be like, Dad, your phone's ringing. Cool.
Yep.
I'm not answering it. And there was a time in my life where I would answer it every single time it rang.
Yeah.
And I did not realize how much I was taking away from my family. I honestly was blind to it. And I woke up to it. I didn't get woke because, no. But I woke up to it.
Do not misunderstand.
Do not misunderstand. Ain't nobody woke at this table. But it's so important. And I'm not busting your – I love you. I'm not busting your balls. But when you said that earlier, it made me cringe a little bit, because I remember – being like, because the way I think of it now is like, okay, I'm literally having a conversation with my Heavenly Father, and now this phone call is more important. Right. Really? I mean, it's just,
if you look at it that way, yes.
Yeah, and I'm not. I know it's out of context or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, something to consider. Same thing during this season. If you're gonna slack somewhere, slack on, like, remember your proper, for me, God, country, family, business, and
find your alignment. If you're listening right now, find your alignment. It doesn't have to be God, country, family, business. I would highly, highly, highly suggest
it's a pretty good one.
Yeah. But you are an individual. Please understand that. Please be proud of being an individual. You make your own decisions. So if it's not that, then make it something else, because if you make it that, then you're just faking it. If you don't actually believe it and desire for it to be that way, you're just faking it, which isn't doing anybody any good. But now that I'm off soapbox, that's a great segue to that, because that's I've actually had, Dina's actually had conversations with me that's like, dude, we don't have to like be productive in everything that we do all the time.
Yep.
And sometimes like time invested might not be what you would consider productive, but it is an investment into the emotional, I don't know.
Well-being.
I guess well-being would be a good way to put that. But like I have found that I'm really bad about stuff like that. Like I tend to go, okay, we got to go. We got to go. We got to get things done. We got 5 minutes. Let's knock this out. Let's do this. Let's do that. But sometimes that 20 minutes sitting at the dinner table, talking to Maverick about his day in detail, asking him how he felt about stuff that happened and stuff, like it's crazy important, and we miss out on stuff like that. And then that goes back to, you are the architect of your environment. Remember that. As a man, you are the architect of your environment. So if you create a chaotic environment and you build one because everything's all over the place and you feel like you constantly have to run and do all this shit, then it's going to be chaotic, which is going to be more busy than productive, but you can...
And you would be incredibly proud of me, because... I was listening to one of our recent episodes. You said something about get a dog and, whatever.
And you got a dog.
I know I have one.
I like it.
I'm glad you like him.
I like you better.
Thank you. Me too. But I've been very intentional about trying to have some type of relationship with this dog.
I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Well, I don't know about that yet, but no. But I will. I mean, but I'm in a stage in my life where I'm trying to be like don't just be shut off to it completely. So like one of the first things I do is play with the dog when I get home. Not to avoid the first thing I do sometimes I get home and my wife and kids aren't there because they're out doing something, who knows what, half the time. But I kiss my wife, number one thing, and I've talked about this before. I don't hug my kids first. I kiss my wife first, and then I go hug and kiss my kids, and it's a full on, like it is take time out to look you in the eyes and say I love you when I get home. To wife, then kids, and then I don't say that to my dog. I just take him outside and we have this new game called Kick the Pig. Sounds worse than it is. He's got this little pig
that
toy.
Poor pig.
And,
Really?
and I'm not a big fan of slobbery dog toys. I don't want to touch them.
So I kick it.
With
my work boots.
Exactly right.
Right?
And that's why I do it when I first get home, because I still have my work boots on.
I can see
So
it.
I kick the pig until he wears down, and then I'm like, I feel like I've done my duty, and now we go inside.
Well, and not just for him though, but I'm telling you, for you,
I know,
think
honestly,
it's a good decompression kind of thing. I swear to you, I'm gonna get a shirt that says lift heavy pet dogs. Like those
I lift heavy pet dogs.
those are the two things there.
So the other side of things, and Josh, you hit on this too earlier, is knowing your wife's love language. And so again, addressing men right now, very, very important this time of year. Like your wife, they are wired differently than you. I know some people will tell you that's not the case, but they are wired differently than you. They have anxiety and stress about things during this time of year that we don't. Typically, I mean, we're kind of like, what? I don't understand. Like nothing's different. We're just going to go to some more parties and do, we're going to eat more and things like that. That's not how they view it.
So here's a good example. What we're doing today,
right.
the Friendsgiving thing that we're doing today. How much thought have you got outside of the corn, beer, and whiskey?
Right.
How much thought have you guys really put into all this?
0.
Not a lot.
No, not a lot. Other than
I knew
helping
the
her
date.
last night.
Now I'm telling you right now, on the back end, the girls have been talking.
Oh,
they've
yes.
been talking about we got to do this, we got to do that. What are you doing? What do you bring in? Blah blah blah. Outside of deep frying a turkey, drinking some whiskey, recording today, that's about all I've thought about. And sometimes I take that stuff for granted.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm like, why are you so stressed out? And I'm like, all the
Because
other
they see it
things that you're
differently.
thinking
Yeah, they
about,
see it differently. I mean, even
planning
yesterday we did
everything.
a Friendsgiving at our house and we hosted it. And I spearheaded a lot of it. And that's the way it worked out because of the people in our neighborhood, communication wise. But then when it came time to like have people there, then it was like, oh, we got to decorate this, and I'm like not even thinking about that. Yeah. And it's like she wanted to create an environment, and she did a fantastic job in a really short period of time in creating something that not only was enjoyable for everybody to be around each other, but it looked nice, and it was that whole deal. So they're just different. And and things that are important to them might not be important to you. So here's the point: take the time to try your best to understand that is important to them. Yep. It's not going to be easy, right? It's not going to be easy to stop and go, babe, what can I help with? Yep. Or, if she is maybe being a little more, there's more conversations coming up about the way the house looks, or the way the decorations are going, or the way the presents are wrapped, or whatever. Like, I've been guilty, just like most everybody on here listening as a man has been. Like, it doesn't matter. The wrapping paper is the wrapping paper. It does matter to her. Yep. It does. Okay? So just be the bigger person, be the man, and go, babe, what kind of wrapping paper you want?
Whatever you want, baby.
That's such a good point. I'm like,
it is.
Honey, we have so many bags up there. We just put
but
them
it
in
doesn't
bags.
match the tree this year.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bags? And then we get into this whole like back and forth of like, what? What'd I say? And she's like, do you really think that that's okay? And I'm like, yes, I think it's okay.
Of course I do.
Absolutely. But that reminded me of something. I'm sorry, I did mean to interrupt you. But I've been talking to my boys about this a lot, about saying, be a blessing about everything, instead of just, be a leader, because I've ingrained that into him. Be a leader, you are a leader, stuff like that. But here recently I've been talking about be a blessing, and that's like with your mom. Like, when I leave, if I have to travel or if I have to do something and she's there, like, Maverick, be a blessing, and well, what does that mean? Well, that means that when your mother needs you, you're there.
Yep.
And when your mother doesn't need you or doesn't express that she needs you, you're there because you're asking to be a servant, kind of thing. And that's something I have to tell myself.
It's tough, yeah.
And I say it to them purposely so that I hear
exactly right. Even right now, the reason I'm bringing it up right now, honestly, is because this is recorded.
Yeah.
This will come back to bite me in the ass. I already know it will.
That's exactly right. Dude will be like, remember when you were talking about be a blessing?
Yeah, babe, I remember. I said it.
What's wrong with the newspaper wrapping?
I know,
the
right?
newspaper works fine.
Dude, it's so true. But in all seriousness, like, there's just... You can have your wife's back during this time. This is their time of year. This is the way I look at it. This is their time of year. Babe, do your thing. Like, you love it. They love it. Yeah. They absolutely love it. They love the shopping. They love the decorating. They love the gifts. They love everything about it. I love hanging out with people.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with people.
Yep.
right? All the other shit could happen or not happen. I don't really care, but I get to see my family. I get to see my friends. I get to like just the community and the connections. All this stuff is all I really care about. They want it all to look good too, and to taste good, and to all these things. So just be okay with it, you know.
Yeah, well, like what you're saying is like have the attitude is like whenever they say I want to get the Christmas tree down or I want to get the decorations down, don't be like or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have the attitude of like, okay, babe, let's go.
Hey, she was texting me like crazy the other day about I still wanted a live tree, but I know how to pick my battles.
Yeah.
And she was like, what about this one? What about this one? And literally my response every time was, babe, get the tree you want. Get the tree you want. And she ended up getting a cool tree that wasn't very expensive, which I was like, hell yeah. But
have you ever done a real Christmas tree hunt? Like actually go?
No,
in the
she
woods?
wants to do that, and now we've gone and cut them down, but they were at a tree farm.
No, my dad. I guess it was because we just didn't have enough money to go buy an actual tree from a tree farm. But we would go into the woods and actually make an experience. Yeah, finding your tree and bringing it
that kind
out
of stuff's cool to me.
It is really.
And
cool.
she does want to do that kind of stuff, but she also wants to have the house decorated before Thanksgiving too. So.
Well, my goal is to. I love Christmas, and my grandmother made like Christmas special before she passed, and it just kind of since then we've been. My goal is to actually have a place to where we can go as a family, have snow on the ground, have the full Christmas trees. Like the log cabin would just be for Christmas and that Christmas holiday spirit. So, I mean, I enjoy Christmas. I like to take the time to listen to music and enjoy building those memories, creating all the different things. But we travel a lot. Mm-hmm. And so Christmas Day, this has been unique. So ever since we've been in business with you, and it's been chaotic all the way through, just like trying to figure out like appeasing everybody. And then just a couple of years ago when we moved up to Murfreesboro, we said, hey, we're not doing it anymore, especially because Finn was in. Before Finn, we weren't really building anything for his memories. So now we have to be the example of like, okay, now we have to do something for our legacy, what we're going to be doing as a tradition for our family. Yep. And it's completely changed. So, as a man into the season, if you're married and you don't have kids, do whatever you got to do. But build those legacies or those traditions now. That way, whenever your kid does come, it's easier to continue what you're doing, and it's a lot of fun, man. Especially whenever you see them wake up in the morning and you're creating the hot chocolate, or you're creating the cinnamon rolls, or whatever it is that you like to do, and just make that special morning.
We're going to eat in a minute, Josh. Just relax.
Have you guys seen those cinnamon roll candles?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Is that not
that's horrible.
That's the most wicked thing that anybody can possibly
You walk in the house like, babe,
kid.
you made cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, so I bought 3 of them. Because I didn't watch the boys slide down the stairs like, oh my God, cinnamon roll. What's the cinnamon rolls? It's a candle.
What's the guy on The Simpsons?
But yeah, I was going to say that my wife and I, we've been together through all of it, and that if it was business wise, I was not good at separating business from family. And when Finn came around, that's when I had to separate a lot of those things. So now I'm more focused on where you guys have your focuses and everybody has their focus in life. My focus is family, and it's most important. But at the same time, like what you guys were talking about, like I learned from, is that you got to also focus on you too, and what brought you to this table or what brought you to the thing. You can't like slack off on, which is pretty cool.
Well, no matter how big your family gets, the goal doesn't change.
Never.
Like for me, that's one of the things that I've had to convince myself. Like it's like, okay, we got another one on the way. Where are we going to put this one? I don't have any more kennels. Like, where am I going to put this one at and stuff? And then I started
you just tied them up, and then you had the 50-gallon drum that you let them in the yard. You seen like the roosters that they do.
Oh yeah. I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, where am I going to fit everything else in? And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, it doesn't change. Like the goal doesn't change. The goal in life doesn't change. You just have more kids, more responsible. We just got to be more creative about how we attack things and stuff, and probably. We're same way. Travel for Christmas and Thanksgiving is unbelievable. Well, 5 places per holiday.
Yeah, and I think that's normal now. It used to be that like families were all close together, and when I mean close, I mean like geographically. And now it's just normal. Like people live all over the place, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I do think that there's something cool about families staying close and tight knit, but as long as you're coming back together, but it just requires some logistics, you know. And it's it's not always easy, and to get back on what we were saying is like, as a man, just be the bigger man. Like, if you've got a pregnant wife and she needs to stop and pee 15,000 times on the way to wherever you're going, dude, freaking suck it up and just do it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
right?
but then all those people that you passed over the last 50 miles get by you again.
There's that truck I just got by his ass. Dude, it's so true. I was talking, and we're gonna wrap up here in just a second. But I was talking to my dad on the way here today, and we were talking about that. That's why it was fresh on my mind. But my cousin, I always call him my cousin. It's my nephew, is because my step sibling's son, his nephew is having they got married this time last year, and now they're pregnant with their first child. And so they live down close to Houston, Texas. And I asked Dad, are they coming up? And he's like, no, I don't think they're coming up. Whatever. They're not traveling right now. And Zach is his name, and I'm hoping he hears this. I'm thinking about him hearing this as we're talking. But my dad is, in all his wisdom, he's just got some nuggets that he can throw out. That he was like, Zach was saying something about his wife having to stop and go to the bathroom all the time because she's pregnant. And he was like, buddy, you have no idea. Like, you haven't even started to understand what's going on right now. He said, you about to find out that you're not number one anymore. And he said, and the more of them you have, the lower down the list you get. And I was like, oh, my God. If my dad's saying this, I'm like, you're right. I'm like having this epiphany. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, mama's going to take care of her babies. And then she'll think about her husband. Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's part nurturing nature, man. It's different. Yeah, it is.
But hey, God bless them, man. They do. And literally, and I'm not saying this to try to get brownie points. Our wives are absolutely amazing. They do some incredible things that we would never be capable of doing. I'm so grateful, as I know you guys are, for your wives. We'd be a shit show without them.
I keep mine alive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
That's the truth.
It is.
I tell Dana all the time, I said, when you leave, things get really simple.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you right now, they do.
You want to talk about some fish stick consumption?
Things get very simple when you leave. Yeah. Like, kids' clothes don't match, don't really care. He's probably got like a piece of a cookie or something stuck and wedged into his side or something like that.
Yeah.
It gets and then we go wherever we need to go. It gets simple. Like, it really does. And that was something that I noticed between she's in there. She's like, he's got a match and stuff. And then when you look at these kids, and I have appreciation for it now. Yeah. I walk into Kroger and like these kids are, well put together, well matched, young kids and stuff. And a woman's going through there. I'm like, I know what it took to do that.
Exactly.
I know what it took.
You just want to go
exactly right.
Just slow clap. Every time you see them. So, all right. So we're gonna wrap up. Just keep those things in mind. Listen, number one, if you have some potentially toxic relationships in your family, it's okay. Just be the bigger person. If you have some toxic conversations that come up, it's okay. Just be the bigger person. You can control that environment. You can be, and if you can't, you can always walk away from it. Yep. You can go have your sweet potato pie outside. Oh, you know, I mean, it honestly, if you live in the South, it's gonna be 70 degrees for Thanksgiving anyway. So just enjoy it. You know.
Thank goodness global warming.
Take some time and enjoy the time off. Make sure to prioritize where you're going to slack, like JP was saying. I think that's a huge thing. Remember your personal disciplines, your personal growth. In my opinion, they shouldn't slack. You may adjust when they're happening, but you still need to stay on top of your game. Your goals for your family don't change. And then, be a blessing for your wife. Be a blessing for your spouse. Make sure you're helping out. Be a blessing for your kids. And create some memories. That's another great point that you guys made, is like, make this season about having memories and creating memories that they will remember for a lifetime. It's not about stuff, right?
And have fun.
And
enjoy yourself. Like, don't just sit there and stress.
Don't stress.
Just stress. Enjoy yourself, because you're not helping the situation by stressing, I promise.
No. And eat a lot. Just go ahead and do it.
And don't tell your wife not to stress. Or no, how does that go? You just tell them, right?
Yeah.
And then
I usually just turn it right off.
Yeah, hey, stop stressing out.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
That's not going to work out well for either one. So
bad advice.
Yeah, bad advice. So we love you guys. We appreciate you listening and continuing to grow the movement. We've got a lot of new listeners over the last few weeks that we are grateful for. And we're grateful for you, and don't take this the wrong way. We believe you're probably grateful for this movement and for this podcast, because we know it's helping. That's the feedback we're getting. We had somebody just the last couple of days say, keep doing what you're doing. And my response to them was, we intend to.
Yep.
We have zero intentions of backing off or backing down. We know that the climate out there is changing in our country and in this world. And to us, that just makes us want to dig in deeper and continue to spread the message that we believe we've been given to spread. And we have every intention in the world to become the best men we can be, as well as help other men do the same. So follow us at Shepherds of Men or on our website, shepherdsof.men. Hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving, amazing Christmas, and for some of y'all, an amazing holiday season. We love you either way. You've been a part of the movement.